Black Bull is the best scotch I've ever sampled. Don't fret, folks, this isn't a whiskey review. Rather, it's a critique of the government monopoly that sells liquor in Ontario, and I am going to show you how the liquor corruption bureaucracy of Ontario is a cartel that's equal parts incompetent, lazy, and unapologetic, even when it makes egregious mistakes. So my Black Bull saga begins last November when I bought a bottle of this Scottish ambrosia at a Toronto LCBO store. I was attracted, like a fish, to the lure of the sleek ebony-hued cylindrical packaging that the bottle was entombed within. Thankfully, I was not fished in. Turns out this 12-year-old blended Scotch is off the charts good, and Black Bull became my new go-to brand. And then around April Fool's Day, I thought someone at the LCBO was playing a cruel prank because the price of that bottle of Black Bull jumped overnight from $68 to $104.60. That's right, a price increase of almost $37. How could that be? So I placed calls to the LCBO and my persistence eventually paid off, for I was informed that a price increase was indeed supposed to take effect. But that price increase was supposed to be $5. The bottle was supposed to go to $73, not $104.60. The reason for this error? Well, apparently someone at the LCBO made a currency conversion mistake regarding Canadian dollars and British pounds. Oh, and as a sidebar, keep in mind that the LCBO price increase even affected the existing inventory of Black Bull that the LCBO had bought months ago at the lower wholesale price. I'm not sure what we call that. Is it double dipping or simply price gouging? In any event, stuff happens, right? And since I was able to indicate that the LCBO had made a mistake that they acknowledged, the price would be corrected lickety-split, right? Well, not really. You see, even though Black Bull is only carried at 3 LCBO stores, I was informed that the price could not be corrected until May. Yeah, that's right. It would actually take an entire month to correct something that should have taken maybe 10 seconds to fix. Why? Well, it's because the LCBO is a government bureaucracy beholden to a system. A bad, morbidly slow system, but a system nonetheless. By the way, this is just the latest example of how when it comes to pricing, the LCBO just can't get it right. Case in point, in 2011, Ontario's Auditor General, Jim McCarter, discovered that the LCBO, despite its enormous purchasing power, actually pays more than it has to for wholesale booze. And get this, sometimes the LCBO even demands that its suppliers charge it more. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. The LCBO embraces the Walmart business model in reverse. Walmart squeezes its suppliers for lower wholesale costs in order to be a low-cost leader and pass along savings to consumers. And while those suppliers loathe such nickel and diming, they really can't afford to walk away from the volume of product they'll sell if they get a Walmart listing. The LCBO, being one of the largest purchasers of alcohol in the entire world, is basically the Walmart of liquor. If it wanted to, the LCBO too could use its clout to get lower wholesale prices, thereby earning a higher profit margin. That money could then be passed on to the provincial treasury, or it could pass on lower prices to the consumer. But no, instead, Ontario's booze monopoly is beholden to an ass-backward system that works kind of as follows. First, the LCBO decides what it wants to charge for a particular new listing. Then it references that number against the amount of profit it is predestined to earn. For example, the profit margin for a bottle of spirits is 68%. Finally, the liquorcrats calculate backwards what it wants to pay the supplier. So if the supplier's quote falls outside an acceptable range, the LCBO actually goes to the supplier and asks them to revise the price, even if that revision means the LCBO has to pay more. I'm not making this up, folks. The bureaucrats at the LCBO are just too damn lazy to adjust their pricing formulas in their computer system, so they'd rather have their suppliers charge higher prices instead. So to dial it back to the black bull currency screw-up, is it any wonder they'll get around to fixing their own mistake at a speed that is comparable to molasses going uphill in wintertime? In the private sector, a retailer that is incompetent, unaccountable, and unapologetic will soon be put out of business. As for the LCBO, it can do all of the previously mentioned and stay in business because it is a power-drunk, state-sanctioned liquor monopoly that has the audacity to justify its very existence based on some abstract concept called social responsibility. And these booze brainiacs are the ones being entrusted to retail marijuana later this year? Gee, what could possibly go wrong? For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, you may have heard the Rebel has a brand new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.